Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokat. Welcome to Living in Two Worlds live stream show right here at Star Nations Organization. And tonight is Tuesday, August 25th. And I would like to say welcome to everybody that's in the live chat with us tonight, and from Facebook and also from YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight's show for Living in Two Worlds is about something pretty special. I was going to say spectacular. Maybe it's spectacularly special. The reason why I say that is because it's all about Ortrun and Carl, right? And why is that? Well, they're published authors, and I thought it would be a really good conversation to have with them about their books and what their books are about individually, but more important, how their books kind of work together. And it went in a way that was, divinely ordered, I would say, because Carl published his book first, and then Orchard published hers just recently. And so I want, for those people who may not know who Carl and Orchard are, I'd like to tell you a little bit about them. Okay. And I know that there's many people in the chat that do know Carl and Orchard, for many reasons, just through their live stream show, but more often than not, it's through their spiritual classes that they've taught together. Okay, and perhaps you've even heard them speak to different groups. And so let me share a little bit about them with you, and we will start with their website. Their website is ourspiritualascension.com. And it's a wonderful website. But let me tell you a little bit about Carl. He's a metaphysical researcher. Did you know that about him? Yes, he is. He's a researcher. He holds a master's degree in theology and in psychology, and he is a Coptic minister. He says that while he was studying his counseling degree, he became interested in utilizing both his conscious and subconscious mind. Now, that's a huge key to know about Carl. Practicing self-hypnosis and meditation has allowed him to go beyond the five senses. He's a dowser and a channeler. He has the ability to communicate with the higher realm. In his life script readings, he is able to tap into the Akashic record of individuals, helping them to remember their life plan. If you've never had a script reading done by Carl, you're missing out. You really do need to have that from him because it's so insightful. I tell you what, when he did mine, it helped so much to understand certain aspects of my life path that was kind of out of focus at the time. So if you haven't done that, you might want to consider it. He's this author and creator and recorder of the acclaimed Alpha Breakthrough series. It's a set of self-help CDs. He's also an international speaker and workshop presenter. It has various topics such as spiritual parapsychology, the crystal and indigo children, the ascension process, the spiritual realm, our multidimensional selves, and the fifth dimensional Christianity. And we've done shows on each one of those. Carl is the author, whoops, wrong set of notes. Carl is the author of his book that was published, I think, 2 years ago. And the name of that book is Earth's Ascension, Nibiru and the Spiritual Realm. And some of you actually have purchased that. So you guys, those who have read it, know that it's a look at the spiritual realm from a macro level, really wide perspective, right? And he goes through so much. And that most of that book is a lot of his work and research, except there's a few chapters in there that are certainly channeled. For those who have read that book, you know which ones I'm talking about, which chapters. All right, so now a little bit about Orchard. Now, they've been married for a lot of years, too. Spiritual teachers together. So Orchard is the founder of the Key of Life meditation experience, master initiator of the Key of Life, the Mystery School class series, student of the writings of Hamid Bey, who is a 7-ring master of the Egyptian Mystery School, And also, she is a Coptic minister. She hosts a monthly she did, webcam show, Egyptian Healing Temples. I think this is a little out of date. I should grab her other one. Hang on. I have it here. I just have to figure out which one it is. I have so many ones open. Here it is. All right. So, she's had quite an eclectic life. She is that Coptic minister, but she's also a contributing writer for Star Nations magazine. She is also a live stream show host here. She's been a student of spiritual and metaphysical teachings in the ancient Egyptian mystery school for over 40 years. Did you know that? Over 40 years. Her travel to Egypt, plus utilizing meditation, has connected Ortrun with her past lives in Egypt. She shares her knowledge as an esoteric Egyptologist, Coptic minister, and the founder of the Key of Life Mystery School. And I say that she is Star Nation's resident Egyptian expert. And so her book, Key of Life Integrating Ancient Truths into the Modern World, was just recently published by Star Nations Publishing. And what Ortrun does is, through that book, she leads us into discovering who it is we truly are. She shares glimpses of her life examples on how to connect with spirit through meditation and intertwining ancient truths into her daily life. Her intent is for the reader to recognize the connection of outer life experience with inner knowing, all the while more fully understanding that we are part of the whole. And reading her book will enhance your life experience and assist you in your spiritual growth. Now, I share that with you because Ortrun and Carl, their two books, like I said, Carl's book is on a macro level. It's a very high perspective of what's going on in the planet and also in the spiritual realm. Whereas Ortrun's book takes those mystery schools, the spiritual information, and she helps us to ground it to the spiritual, to the earth plane, and how to through our lives, through our bodies, through our research and knowing, right? So I want to check something here. Hang on just a minute. And we're having just a little bit of a difficulty here, a little bit of a challenge. I'm missing my two co-hosts. I thought they'd be here by now. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call Ortrun and see, make sure they're okay. Because you never know because they're elders. They're Star Nations are also our resident elders. And so
Do you want me to put something in?
Yeah, sure, that'd be fine. This is strange, isn't it? Hmm. All right, I think, Rob, do I have a live mic?
Yes, you do now. You don't. You didn't. I muted you for the call.
Oh, okay, good.
And that was not going to play for anything. So, do you want me to still bring it up?
It's one of those nights. No, that's all right. It's okay. Why don't we bring up Carl's book, the picture of Carl's book? There we go. And yeah, and if you could take off the overlay, that would even be nicer. Thank you, Rob. Um, yeah, let's say hi to a couple people too while we're getting going here. Bring up Joan's. Hello, Joan. Good to have you here. I'm just looking at your profile. That's pretty cool. Those are clouds, I take it, of hearts. Looks like it. Good to have you here, Joan. And look who else is here. Pat's here. Oh, I'm so glad you're happy. You're happy to be here. I'm happy you're here too, Pat. Thanks for being here. Rob is greetings from Facebook land. Is that it?
YouTube land.
YouTube land. Oh my gosh. Okay, and there's the Facebook.
There's Facebook land.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. All right. So for those people who are, you're welcome, Joan. For those people who are in the live chat, who has read Carl's book? Because I read it a couple times. In fact, for this show, I was madly dashing through the house and looking through all the bookshelves, and because I wanted to bring his book with me, right? And I'm going, where is it? Where is it? I know it's here. I know it's here. Did you ever do that? I went through everything, couldn't find it. And so I'm standing in the middle of my office and I'm calling to my spiritual team. I said, okay, guys, I need your help. I need to find Carl's book like now. And the message that came through was Marley has it. Marley is my BFF from grade school all the way through high school, and we've known each other for decades, right? She's also happens to be my bookkeeper. And the last time she was here to work on Star Nations books, I lent her Earth's Ascension by Carl Franklin. So I sent her a text message because I wanted to make sure that's indeed what happened. And she said, yeah, I still have it. Sorry, I'll bring it with me on September 4th, the next time we meet. So I don't have his book in my hands, but we do have a copy of the picture of the cover of his book, Earth's Ascension, Nibiru and the Spirit Realm. And if you haven't read his book, I would highly suggest that you do, especially with everything that's going on right now out there in the wacky world. You might find some interesting information in Carl's book because, like I said, it's a macro level, right? He's sharing with us about his insight and his connections, his informants on the spiritual end, about the goings on and who helps us here on Earth, right? And all it is all about ascension, that's for sure. And he truly is a researcher. And so, if you haven't read Carl's book, my suggestion is that you might want to consider doing that. Now, it is, I think he sells his books from their website. And if you'd like to have it signed, I'm sure he'll sign it for you too. Oh, thank you, Rob, for posting the link that's to us, to Star Nations Publishing. If you could also post Ortrun and Carl's website, Our Spiritual Ascension link, that would be great too. And so, yeah, there you go. Thank you. I must have missed it. It was up a little bit further. Thanks, Rob. And so, when you're ready to take a look at the wider picture, the bigger picture of what Spirit is doing to help us, right? And how we're interconnected so much, not just between us and spiritual communities like we have here at Star Nations, but worldwide, interdimensionally, and with the spirit realm. And so, yeah, this is Carl's book. And I don't know, he says he's not much of a writer. What he did was he dictated this book. He had a software where what he did was he just talked into a microphone, which turned it into text, and then they had someone doing the editing for him. And so, which is really nice, I think. And so you certainly will hear Carl's, how do you want to say this? His voice, right, in the writing. So, yay, Carl. And how does his book, I think, reading both of them, how they dovetail together. And the thing is that the books are actually 2 years apart, right? At least two, maybe three. years apart in publishing. And so when you read Carl's book and you get that wider perspective, which is great, and then when you read Ortrun's book, she takes many of the concepts that Carl has in his book and gives us a way to be able to ground them to the earth plane through our own lives, which is really great, right? That is one of the gifts that Ortrun has. That is to take this, the esoteric, right? The esoteric, and bringing it down to our everyday life, helping us to understand in modern terms what the ancients were bringing to us through the Egyptian mystery schools, both the left and right eye mystery schools. And so, how did this even happen? How does this even happen? Rob, if you could bring up Orchard's book cover, that would be great because we'll talk a little bit about that one. Yay. Good one. Thank you. And so this is the cover of Ortrun's book, Key of Life, Ancient Truths Integrated into the Modern World. Um, some of you were with us for some of the other shows that we've done, live streams around this book, because, we're doing, introducing it to so many people in as many ways as possible. And this particular book, it was many, many years in the making. She shared with us in her bio that she's been doing her personal work, and especially with Egyptian mystery schools, for over 40 years. And one of the things that she's done for Star Nations is to write her column, the articles, and under the mystery school column. And what we did was we took all of her articles, every article that she wrote from 2013 till early 2020. And we brought them all together, and she and I read through them, and we selected, and actually she did the selecting of the articles to put into book form. And then what she did was she did some extra writing to bring it all together. And so almost every single one of the chapters in her book has a guided meditation with it. And if you've never experienced one of Ortrun's guided meditations, you're missing out. She can take you directly to one of the ancient tombs. Why? Because she's been there. And so she knows how to describe it and the feelings within those tombs. And so taking the information that she shares in each one of the chapters and helps us to ground it to the earth plane through our bodies, through the meditations. And so she also gives us a chance to be able to integrate it into your current life, which I think is so helpful. Because so many times we read something or we go to a class or something like that, and we're left with not much of the application, right? Have you ever done that? Not much of the application. And so with Ortrun, what she's done is she has taken this esoteric information and she helps us to put it into that application into our everyday life, right? And so now many of you have watched this live stream show with Carl and Ortrun, and in all of its renditions, from the mystery school to let's see, they used to have separate shows at one time here at Star Nations, and so you guys have watched and listened to them for many years, and with their two books together, what you get to have them is in your own home whenever you need them, which I think it's kind of comforting, don't you think? I think it is. And so Ortrun is actually running a special right now on her book, and it goes from August 12th to September 12th, and it is a special price for a signed, autographed message from the author, special. And so, yeah, and you can always find out more about that at Star Nations organization's website at the publishing page. I just looked at it, and I have to say thank you to our web developer. They're doing such a good job on our website. When you get to the publishing page, what you have to do is click on the link, and they'll take you to the individual books. Okay? Yeah. So, and for those who have already purchased Ortrun's book, thank you so much. On behalf of Ortrun and Star Nations Publishing, thank you so much for doing that. and supporting Ortrun in her work and her soul work, her life work. So I'm looking at the time, and Orchun and Carl are still not here. I don't know what happened to them. We'll have to figure that one out. And she hasn't returned my call yet. That is odd. That is odd. You can usually set your watch, a clock by Orchun, especially on where she's at and what she's doing. So I'll find out more and let you guys know so you're not out there wondering, right? Yeah. So honestly, I can't say much more because they were going to do a nice tag team for you between their books and taking one aspect of Carl's book and one aspect of Ortrun's book and share with you how those two things go together. And like I said, it was by divine order because when Carl wrote his book, we didn't even know at that time. We didn't even know at that time which articles were going to become chapters in Orchard's book. And so I wanted to show you guys that. So if you have any questions about their books, you can contact Ortrun and Carl through their website at ourspiritualascension.com. If you'd like to purchase Carl's book, that's where you purchase Carl's book. And for right now, where you purchase Ortrun's book is through Star Nations Publishing at starnations.org. Okay? All right. So I wanted to thank everybody for joining us this evening. And we'll see you next month on Living in Two Worlds with Carl and Ortrun Franklin. All right. So enjoy the rest of your evening and come back in a half hour for my show, Communications from Home. And with that show, I'm telling you, it is something I want to share with you guys. The title of it is Being Present When You Don't Really Want to Be. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that, okay? So come on back in a half hour for the next live stream show with me for Communications from Home. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.